All right, Frank Messer. Big Dave Winfield. We told you he's got a 16-game hitting streak going. We saw the Puerto Rican flag down there. Today they're having the big Puerto Rican Day Parade, 26th annual. And Bob Leaf, our old buddy, is the
Grand Marshal?
The Grand Marshal. I was trying to say it in Spanish. And there is the Arab Sheik. Who is that?
The Sheik of Araby.
The Sheik of Araby. All right. Different
I bet
ways.
it's Alfredo Griffin.
Probably is. Good way to keep cool today.
He's the chicest Sheik I know.
One strike on Winfield. Inside 1-1. By the way, Eddie Lopat is an avid a golfer as I am, and every chance we get, we play golf. And our buddy Joe Dobson, who invites Eddie and I to play at Wingfoot and other courses, his father is 98 and a half years old. His mother 92 years old. They were married in 1911. A little looper that might drop in. And it does. 17 in a row for Winfield. Holy cow. You know, you got to be strong to do that, Lopat.
When you're hot, everything falls in.
That is the longest hitting streak in Winfield's Major League career.
I mean, he's unbelievable. I mean, he throws the bat at the ball and gets a hit.
One hop to the center fielder, Bell. By the way, the center fielder, Mosby.
Oh, look at this. One of our cameramen has caught the Sheik of Araby there. And now the other half. Nope, I'm wrong again. It's Gamble up there. How could I mistake him for Kemp?
By the way, Scooter, Winfield came in hitting .341. Bell of Toronto and Trammell of Detroit are second at .338. So Davis helped that batting average.
Oh, yes.
Phil, I don't know whether you realize or not, but they've gone up for such specialization today that a pitcher, as the situation now prevails, from the time he gets into a stretch and then from the first movement he makes to deliver the ball to home plate should be 1.50 by the clock. If it's more, most of the time you don't have a chance
to get the runner?
To get the runner, because you've got to get the ball down there from the time it leaves the pitcher's hand to the catcher and down the second with 3 seconds or less.
Boy, this is getting to be a specialized game.
Did you ever have to think about that when you were pitching?
No.
He never got it there in 1 minute and 5 seconds. Messer, if you ever saw him pitch, you could count the stitches on the ball and read the president of the American League's name as it was coming in.
However, who was the getaway man on the last game?
Lopat, quick game, didn't walk anybody, a lot of ground balls, double plays. All right, Alexander with the count, 1 strike on Gamble. Foul back upstairs, 0-2. No, we like the kid, Eddie, but I tell you, no, you'd rather see him out there in a big, important ball game than just about anybody else.
You know what my masterpiece was right here one year against the St. Louis Browns. Pitched 11-hit shutout in 1 hour and 48 minutes and only threw 88 pitches.
Holy cow. High pop. That might be playable. And Fernandez had a little trouble, but he made the play.
You saw him make the same move that Robertson did on the same type fly ball. The only difference is Fernandez was able to hold it. He sort of snatched at that ball, so evidently right down there in that area, Scooter, they're having trouble seeing it.
And also they worry, as you said, about the wall and running into one of the left fielder or the third baseman. Good play by Fernandez. 1 out now. Here is Kemp.
By the way, Fernandez, we talked about the broken bone in his hand being the same bone as Horner broke. Fernandez broke the bone in his left hand, where Horner has the broken bone in his right hand. Yep.
All right, Kemp way up there at .338, 2 homers and 19 RBIs. Is that your highest hit game for a shutout, Eddie? 11 hits and a shutout?
That's my masterpiece, I call it. And Yogi made a belly whopping slide in right field in the 7th inning, caught a ball.
No kidding.
Preserved the short. He was right fielder in those days.
All right, 1 man out. Yanks trailing 1-0. Good bluff by Winfield, but he stopped, and it's ball 1.
So getting back to Alexander here, I saw him when he first started with Baltimore. I've been watching him now for about 12 years. And the first 5 years with Baltimore, he was what you'd call a mop-up guy, you know, when he's mopping up a game. And you have to give him credit. He has really worked and has improved. He's gotten real sharp with control and changing those speeds and has mastered those pitches.
He really has.
Master any pitch you could throw at any given count.
I remember when he was pitching for the Yankees, there had to be at least 4 or 5 games where he had a no-hitter going into the 6th or 7th inning.
I saw some of those games.
Unbelievable. 1-1 on Kemp.
A fellow like that who pitches, he doesn't worry about his stuff. You warm up, you worry about your control and what you can do and where you want to throw the ball. That's the important thing.
People don't realize how important it is not to give up many walks in a ball game. I mean, that seems to... Usually you walk a guy, he eventually scores. Just a crazy situation. And it sent a lot of managers raving mad, doesn't it?
And Gray.
2-1. Oh, Winfield looked like he was going to go and had to hustle back to first. Big Dave.
If I look correctly, Scooter, he talked about Alexander going in the 6th and 7th inning with a no-hitter. This is his 277th start in the major leagues, but he has only 61 complete games.
Oh, hey, look at this. Winfield's going to go to second. Yankees got a big break on a play like that last night, Frank, if you remember. Except that Willie was thrown out at third trying to stretch it.
That's right. Upshaw made a great play on Willie last night. Here it is again. Alexander spins and throws. And he throws the ball by Upshaw, and Winfield moves on to second base. A throwing error will be charged to Alexander.
They got a break, the Blue Jays, in that the ball bounced right back to the second baseman instead of down the right field line. So the Yankees now with a golden opportunity. 2 balls and a strike. Big Dave at second. Check swing grounder, and he had him fooled on that pitch. What was it, Lopez?
Looked like a change. He had him off on his front foot. Once you get a change down pat, you can make even throw it in the fella's eyes, and the motion is what really fools the hitter. And even though you make it in a bad spot, you still catch him on his front foot, and so the power is expended. All he can do is slap a ball very lightly.
Well, and your motion was unbelievable. Garagiola used to say you threw it with your elbow. Struck him out. High fastball. Kemp is struck out.
I tell you, he's a little sneaky today, too. The way he's throwing that fastball, setting him up for with the other stuff. And then one of the best theories were given to me by 2 past masters when I was pitching was Ted Lyons when I was with the White Sox, and then Carl Hubble here. And their theories of pitching was when they were ahead 1-0, 2-0, they would use the fastball, and the counts going the other way, they were breaking balls and changeups.
All right, good strategy. By the way, Ed, did you have one particular tough batter you couldn't get out?
Oh, I had a few.
No, I don't remember them. Who?
Well, Hoot Evers was one with the Detroit Tigers.
Yes, I remember.
And I believe in 12 years in the majors and the 2 years in the Texas League, I think his batting average, and I'm not exaggerating, is 800.
No kidding?
I just couldn't get anything by him or fool him. And if he hit a ball in the end of the bat, 3 guys would run for it, and nobody'd catch it. One of those things. And it finally got to the point where he was up, and the game meant something. I gave him the ticket to first, and I don't care who was hitting next. I take my chances with him.
All right, Toby Harrah the batter, and the count now 2 balls and a strike on Toby.
And the other one you'll be surprised was Ben Blue. You remember Ben Blue?
I remember him.
Pete Suter?
Pete Suter, yeah.
He wore me out too. I couldn't get a ball by him either. But I'm glad there wasn't too many of them around.
No, you send a lot of men back to the bench shaking their heads. They jump to go out and hit against you, but
I like those big long swingers.
Oh yeah, and Cleveland had them. Boy,
Do you have any theory, Eddie, on
the corner?
Do you have any theory on why some hitters can't hit a certain pitcher all the time? There are some hitters that a pitcher gets out all the time.
Well, it's like Evers, no matter what I did to him or what I threw, you just couldn't throw him off stride, and the ball looked big to him. And I was only fortunate, and he had told me many a time that other players should ask him how he does it, and he couldn't explain it. Just one of those things. And I said, well, I'm glad you didn't. Couldn't, you know.
No, you really can't explain it, and it's just that you have confidence, and another pitcher might get you out a few times.
And then it becomes psychological.
That's right. All right, 3 balls, 2 strikes on Harrah. The Yanks trail 1-0 here in the bottom of the 2nd. Winfield at second base. Foul back on the screen. Alexander, you know, every pitch he makes has got a meaning. He hit him right off the hands with that one.
He moves the ball in and out, and that's what makes him tough, is control.
You know, Lopez's not Italian, but we're having trouble because he talks with his hands, and every time he talks, he's moving the microphone. Going to have to tie his hands. Still 3-2 on Toby. Went after a bad pitch, and who's going to get it? It's going to drop. Holy cow! You could see that all the way. Neither fielder looked at the other. They both thought the other was going to catch it, and Toby Harrah is on at first with a gift single, and we got a tie ball game. That is embarrassing.
Here it is again, down off the end of the bat. Just a routine high pop-up. You see Harrah is very upset with himself as he broke out of the batter's box. Toby ought to look down on his wrist. He might have a solid gold watch just appear there.
He should also be on second base, Frank. That's another reason he's there.
You saw him go out of the batter's box. He was slapping his hands together in disgust that he had popped the pitch up and swung at a bad pitch.
Anything can happen in a ball game. You got to hustle all the time. Bobby Cox is wondering, I better get out of New York. And Omar Marino pops one up. And, oh, nice try by Fernandez. He got his glove on the ball, but he was in no man's land there. The fans have as much opportunity to knock that ball out of his glove as he has catching it.
You've seen enough and played enough and know enough. In this game, you take nothing for granted.
Absolutely, Ed. You got to hustle all the way. But the score is tied 1-1. Now, as we mentioned, little things mean a lot in a ball game. Now, say Harrah had been hustling and got to second, and now Marino gets a base hit.
Sure, it could cost you a run. I remember DeMadge when he was here, Joe.
Yeah.
And he used to say every single he hit, he'd run like a double. And you remember seeing him many times. The outfielder bobble the ball, he slide into second base with a double.
Right. Fly ball to center field. And Mosby will make this catch. So the Yankees get a big break. They pick up a run on 2 hits, 1 error, and a man left. And at the end of 2, Toronto won and the Yankees won. Up the middle, a base hit for Weiniger.
11 games in a row, Scooter.
All right.
That is the way you have to hit these type of fellas, Phil. Straight away in the opposite field. You try to pull them, they'll kill you.
That's a good point, Eddie.
You hit just like that in opposite field. It makes you wait on the ball longer, and it gives them a little more problem.
There's that swing. Look at that. And Alex, you know, people don't realize that you pitchers are so close to the mound, they say, well, that pitcher should have got that one. But the reflex action is so tough, isn't it?
Yeah. And the ball's by you so quick at times.
All right, Mattingly takes it low. You see that kid get hit in the head yesterday for Detroit, the pitcher?
Berenguer.
Berenguer, line drive through the box. He tried to put his glove up too late, and it hit him right in the head, and he stayed in the game.
You know, I got to say something about that play, and I think Bob Costas was the broadcaster, handled it so well, saying to the audience, we can't say anything more until we find out something. And I think that I've got to say this to Bob and to everybody. I congratulate him on that quick thinking.
Uh-oh, but it goes foul. That would have been a base hit, excuse me. Yeah, that's a great thing to say because you don't know if his wife or children or parents or relatives are watching, and if you say, oh, he's hurt seriously, everybody gets worried. And
I thought it was handled, though, by Costas and Kubek very, very well. I really do. Not necessarily the numerous replays on it, but just at that moment, the Costas saying, we can't say anything until we learn something, which is true.
All right. Tie score. Holy cow, Mattingly has just tied it up, and it's a 3-3 ball game. Unbelievable. Mattingly, look at him clapping hands going around the bases. Man, he laid that one right down Broadway, and that quickly the game is tied.
Well, fans, you know what happens every time a Yankee hits a home run. Hey, Don Mattingly, this bud's for you. That's Mattingly's 9th home run of the year. Here's the pitch again. A 1-1 pitch, and that pitch is right up out over the plate.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's a pitcher's mistake right there. Mattingly jumped on it.
That's where he made the mistake, Frank. Phil, he showed him on the pitch before that he was out in front, and he just took the ball, and that shows you the fella's geared for the hard stuff, and that's when you don't come back with it.
Uh-huh. All right, Dave Winfield about it now.
But not taking anything away from him, he is quite a ball player, Mattingly.
Oh, man. He's like a cat around first base. Winfield singled his first time up to extend his hitting streak to 17 games in a row. There he is, Don Mattingly. Don Baylor smiling. Nothing brings a smile to a team's face than a home run with a man. Another base hit for Winfield. That'll be a double. Good arm by Barfield, but not in time, and Winfield is 2 for 2.
That gives Winfield 5 consecutive base hits now.
All right. Oh, those long arms. There's no way you're going to throw an outside to him that he can't reach.
I know ball players aren't superstitious, but you mentioned golf and you got 2 runs.
That's all right, Eddie. I told you. And that last inning we mentioned golf and we got our other run.
1 run, right.
All right, Big Dave. I can't blame him for smiling, leading the American League in batting. Frank Messer told you he came in, and whatever average he had, he's raised at least 4 or 5 points with that 2 for 2.
I don't have an abacus, but he's got to be about 345 or 6 now.
Strike 1, Oscar. 2 out, tie ball game. Yankees with a chance to take the lead. One ball, 1 strike. And Alexander wants time, wants to talk with Martinez.
Cox is going a long way with Alexander. He has nobody out there in his bullpen, nobody warming up, so he's going to stick with his veteran right-hander.
There's Bobby checking the lineup. One thing about being a manager, Eddie Lopat, is that you've got to think innings ahead.
You have to be 1 or 2 innings ahead all the time.
Yep. Strike
I tell you,
2.
to a certain extent, at certain times of the game, you got to be 1 or 2 hitters ahead too.
Oh yes.
You know, when things start happening, you say who's the next guy and the following guy, and you got to try to manipulate accordingly.
And then you got to figure who they got on the bench that might come in.
That's right.
It. All right, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Gamble. He's down in that crouch of his.
That was a screwball right there.
And he had him way out in front. Martinez makes the catch. Come back again, Eddie Lopat. Frank Messer is going to carry you along. At the end of 3, it's Toronto 3 and the Yankees 3.
Quickly throw down to second base. Andre covering. There you can see Johnson now trying to go in. He got caught in between, and he hit that second base bag. That's got to hurt because in today's time, the bag does not move. The bags used to be tied on to some stakes, and if you hit the bag very hard, the bag would give way. Today, it does not give way.
It's anchored on a solid post down in the ground.
A steel post, right. Here it is again, Johnson. And he was going to go outside. He switched and decided to go inside. Kind of an awkward type of slide. More or less out of control slide.
He limps off the field under his own power with trainer Ken Carson. Whether he will continue in the ball game, we will not know until his next turn at bat. He is the designated hitter and not playing in the field.
Well, Akins has just been announced. Yogi waited for the left-hander to be announced, Bobby, and he's going out to the mound.
Well, he's got left-handed pitcher Bob Shirley warming in the Yankee bullpen. So a possible change. There you take a look at Bob Shirley. Yogi could possibly want the left-handed pitcher against the left-handed batter, Willie Mays Akins. And he has signaled now for Bob Shirley to come into the ballgame. Jay Howe took over in the top of the 7th inning with 2 outs. Got Collins to fly out to center field. And then he promptly struck out Willie Upshaw in this inning and has given up base hits to Mullinex and Ernie Witt. So there's 2 men on with 1 out. And Bob Shirley will enter the ball game. So Yogi Berra countering with some of Bobby Cox's moves. Shirley this year 1-0 with a 4.01 earned run average. This is his 16th appearance. 33 innings pitched, 16 base on balls, 18 strikeouts. He's allowed 38 hits in those 33 innings, and probably will pitch only to one man. That being the important man here, Willie Mays Aikens. And who is that?
He have his helmet taped down over his head there, that youngster?
No, they.
Huh? What was that?
Well, it was something on on one of the cameras. I think it was just a play on heads. Oh, there it is. A little whatever you call that. Rubber head. Right on the camera. Now a helmet is thrown. Another helmet. That's two. And he is still hot. And there were probably been a few more helmets, but those were the only two on the step. And he's not going to leave. And they will not start this ball game until Bobby Cox leaves the dugout. And he is still arguing with home plate umpire Larry McCoy. When you get thrown out of a ball game,
Look at Brakeman stolen up from the other side.
he's not going to leave.
You know, if they want to, they could give the Yankees this ball game for Bobby not leaving. That
He probably feels like that they already have.
all he's got to do is go up the runway anyway and continue to manage. I'll just stop right there and turn around. That's Al Whitmire, the pitching coach for the Blue Jays, leaning on the railing there.
Roy Lee Jackson had, during the argument, had gone back to the dugout to rest. Alfredo Griffin will stay in and play shortstop. He ran for Willie Aikens, and Ernie Witt, who batted for Martinez, will stay in and do the catching, Bill.
All right, Bobby, and one of the Yankee heroes this afternoon, Don Mattingly, stands in. Mattingly 2 for 3 in the game. A big hit in the third when the Blue Jays were leading 3-1. Mattingly hit a home run into the right field seats with Butch Weiniger on to tie it. And, of course, Gamble's home run in the 6th inning gave the Yankees their 2-run lead as the Yankees lead 5-3 here in the 8th. Ball went on Mattingly. Nubbed off third. And Mullenix takes his time and throws out Mattingly for the first out. Dave Winfield extended his hitting streak to 17 straight with a single to center field in the second. He's also doubled. Winfield 2 for 3.
Here's that double play that got the Yankees out of a big jam. A line shot right back to the pitcher, Bob Shirley. He wheels and turns and doubles Griffin off at first base, and the Yankees get out of a big jam in the top of the 8th inning.
Winfield, the American League's leading hitter at .346 and 2 for 3 here this afternoon. And the breaking ball is a strike on Winfield. That's inside, a ball and a strike on Winfield. Roy Lee Jackson, a former Met. He's had a good year with Toronto. He's won 6 and lost 1 coming out of the bullpen. 1-2 on Winfield. Yankees roughed Roy Lee up in Toronto. Was Righetti throwing earlier, Bobby?
Haven't seen him throw yet.
Into left field. It might slice or hook into the seats. Let's see. Collins there. It will not. He has a play in left. And they're 2 outs.
Well, I am told now by Jimmy Hunter, who keeps his eye on everything here at Yankee Stadium, that yes, Rags had been throwing at one point in the ballgame.
All right. With 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Oscar Gamble. Gamble's 2-run home run in the 6th inning, the difference in this ball game, and he got it all. Hit it about 8 rows up in the upper deck. It was Gamble's 4th home run this year, and as the 11th and 12th runs batted in. Strike 1. Gamble missed all of spring training. Had to undergo a physical on his bad knee. And he's been slow getting his timing at bat. Two strikes on Gamble. Detroit now leading Baltimore 10-3. That ball game in the 8th inning. Milwaukee and Boston tied 4-4 also in the 8th. Cleveland won the first of 2 against Seattle 3-1. They're leading 1-0 early in the 2nd game. Right here, the Yankees lead 5-3 over Toronto in the bottom of the 8th. 1-2 on Gamble. And the breaking ball is low. 2-2. In the 10th inning in Philadelphia, the Pirates 5, the Phillies 5. In the National League, Cardinals and the Cubs no score. That ball game late. Spot the 7th inning there. Cincinnati scored 5 runs in the top of the 1st. They lead San Diego 1-0. Mosby looking for the baseball, finds it in right center for the 3rd out. 3 up and 3 down at the end of 8. Yankees 5, Toronto 3.
Source for Yankee tickets has the best seats available in your neighborhood throughout the tri-state area, including all drug fair locations. To order by phone or find your nearest Ticket World outlet, call 212-888-9000. Well, Rags will try to shut it down, or try to shut the Toronto Blue Jays down here in the top of the 9th inning. The Yankees are looking for a sweep here, a weekend sweep of the Toronto Blue Jays, Bill.
All right, Bobby Mercer and Lloyd Mosby will lead off against Dave Righetti. Righetti was a winner in the first game of the series here Friday night. He came on in the 9th inning and pitched 3. Yankees won that game in 11 by a score of 4-3 on Steve Kemp's base hit, scoring Dave Winfield. And Mosby takes high. Mosby has gotten on an error and scored. He has walked and scored. He has singled, and he's also flied to left field. So he's 1 for 3. And it's a ball and a strike on Mosby. One and 2 on Mosby. Two and 2. Mosby, a .287 hitter, 10 home runs, 36 runs batted in. As we look at Dave Righetti. By the way, that win Friday night was Righetti's 2nd. He's 2-0 coming out of the bullpen. Got him. He strikes out Mosby for the 1st out. Here it is.
Pretty good heat from Dave Righetti. It featured 3 breaking pitches low and away to Mosby, and then got Mosby up and in.
Now Righetti will pitch to George Bell, the right fielder. Bell has singled in a run. He has bounced out, driving in another run. And he's also bounced a 3rd fly to center. He's 1 for 4 in the game with 2 runs batted in. That'll be out of play.
2/3 of an inning. No hits, no runs. 1 walk. The line I'm throwing is 2/3 of an inning. No hits, no runs. walk.
Base hit for Bell. Ball was in on him, and he got enough of the bat on it to single in the left center field. Well, that'll bring the tying run at the plate now, and that'll be big Cliff Johnson. Johnson is 4 for 4, a double and 3 singles and 1 run batted in for Johnson. Johnson taking his time as usual. The Yankee infield looking for 2. Cliff does not run that well. He will make one sure here. He doesn't want to take a chance. He'll go back to first base and make the put out on Cliff Johnson for the second out, and they allow Bell to go on to second base. So there are 2 outs, and the Yankees now just 1 out away from a sweep of the Toronto Blue Jays. I think it's well, I shouldn't say obvious, but playing on grass a little bit different from playing on the artificial surface.
A lot of difference. Not a little bit, but a lot. Especially when you hit the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
And speaking of hitting the ball on the ground, you almost got to make Davy Collins hit the ball in the air. You like to try to pitch him up here at Yankee Stadium and entice him to hit the ball in the air.
Collins 0 for 2, and he fouls it back. He came on in the 5th inning to pinch hit for Jesse Barfield. Forced a runner then and fly to left center in the 7th inning. So Collins 0 for 2, batting at .306. Roy White straightening the outfielders up to making them play straight away. And Gene Michael taking care of the infield. Well, you got a man for all positions now, don't you? 2 strikes on Collins. And that's what Righetti's doing.
Right.
He's keeping that fastball up on Collins to try to get the fly ball. So Dave Righetti in a safe situation here. He's got no balls, 2 strikes on Dave Collins with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Yankees leading 5-3 over Toronto. Got him with a high slider, and the ball game is over. Righetti strikes out 2, gets another on a slow bounce to the first base, and the Yankees have swept the series against the Toronto Blue Jays. In the 9th inning for the Blue Jays, no runs, 1 base hit, and they leave a man on base. The Yankees 5, Blue Jays 3.